Hey guys, Nicole here with Obscure Reptiles and Caging, and today we're going to show you how big your ball python's going to get. So let's get started. Hey guys, so today we've done videos similar to this, but today we're actually going to pick up and show you several of our ball pythons. We've got one of our younger ones. We're going to show you pretty much a full-grown male and then some full-grown females, but you have to keep in mind that there is a wide range. So this right here, he's about a 6 or 8 month old. This is a little boy. They tend to grow about the same rate as babies. Boys do, I always tend to see, stay a little bit smaller. They don't get nearly as fat normally, but it all depends on their feed response. There's so many variables. We've got a ton of videos talking about what's a good size, what's breeding size, what's a male size. But we're going to show you some of our examples. But he is, we'll say like 16, 18 inches long. He's nice and round, nothing too thick, nothing too fat. If you're trying to make sure your snake is appropriate weight, if a ball python is underweight, they're going to look like a teardrop. You're going to see a big spine sticking out the back. You would see, if I can get him to hold still, you would see a huge spine sticking out the back. You wouldn't be able to see these muscles on the side, and you would see individual ribs. Now, if your snake is too overweight, you're going to see a bunch of rolls right around here when they're moving around. But like I said, this is around, we'll call him an 8 month old male. I don't have the paperwork in front of me at the moment, but he eats every single week. We feed him every 7 days. As little bitty hatchlings, you can feed them every 3 to 5. Around this size, you're going to want to do every 7. And then female, big grown female and males, depending on the time of year, it's every 7 to every 10 days. So we're going to show you a couple different sizes. I recently spoke to a few people who had some younger snakes like this, and they had a whole bunch, and I showed them some of my big feeder or breeder adults, and they were a little scared, not realizing how large they actually will get. But that's something to keep in mind if you are getting, let's say, just a pet. If you want something that's going to be smaller, more manageable, doesn't need as much of an enclosure, less food, smaller poops, which is a big thing with these big females, I always recommend getting a male. They tend to be a lot more laid back. They tend to go off feed in winter, so you don't have to worry about normally feeding them too much in winter. They tend to stay smaller, and they tend to be a little bit more or a little bit less aggressive because they're not so food aggressive. But that's just my experience. That's why all my females have names like Beast and Snips and Karen, and then almost all of my males have cute names like Mateo, TJ, Atlas. They got cute, dopey little names. But as females age, I'm not saying all females are mean, but a lot of my females are much more food aggressive than my males. A lot of my female babies, I can't do this with them. But when they get older, they tend to realize it's okay. So we're going to show you a couple different snakes that are different sizes and different ages. I'm going to show you two that are the exact same age, but are growing drastically different. So this is Morel. This is my wife's favorite. As you can see, she's not super skinny, but she kind of looks how that male looked. She is long, super active, and doesn't have that much weight. So when it comes to breeding, she technically is of weight, but we're going to wait another season or two till she puts on a little bit more size. So she's very long. I don't know how well I'll be able to tell how long these guys are. I'd say 3.5 feet, something like that. She's definitely pretty tall compared to me, and I'm 5'6". So this is how long she is, but she is a 4-year-old, 3.5-year-old. I'm not going to be good with these numbers. I got it all written down, but I'm so bad at remembering this type of stuff. She's from 2021, and the next one we're going to show you is the exact same age, but is growing a totally different way. So this one, I could tell by picking her up, she is a lot heavier. So this is Mango. So Mango, we produced here. She's also from 2021. She eats just as much as Morel does, but she is more of a classic ball python. If I could get her to unravel a little to show you, she is much fatter. I'm going to go with, she's nowhere near as long. She's a little bit more shy, so it takes her a minute to open up. But she is a lot fatter, she's a lot heavier. As soon as I picked her up, I could tell. She's got a whole bunch of freckles because she is a banana pied. The other one was a cinnamon banana, or the other one was a, I'm sorry, the other one was a black pastel banana. I don't know if I said that. But she's close to as long, but she's just so much fatter. She's just so much chubbier. She got so much more muscle tone. Ball pythons just grow at different speeds. Again, they eat the same amount. You can see she's chubbier. She's definitely nowhere near as long. But this is Mango. This is our, also from 2021. But super cute. So this is around what a male is going to look like a 5-year-old male. We've got some 5, 6-year-old males. They're a little bit longer, but this is the general size of, let's call it, a full-grown male. But you have to keep in mind that these guys always are going to continuously grow. That's why they continuously shed their whole lives, because they're growing. As they get older, they shed a lot less because they're growing a lot less, a lot slower, but they're always going to be growing. She's got some huge polka dots. You see her big black dots. She got a lot on her head too. Big freckles. Alright, we'll go to the next one. Okay, so he is deep in shed, so I'm not going to mess with him too much, but this is Scout, and if I could try to show you guys his length, he is about the same exact size as those two girls were. He's a little bit longer than Mango, but he is actually a 7-year, almost 8-year-old Mojave Pied. His head's a little bit bigger, but he's got the same build. Like I said, he's going into shed. I'm putting it back real quick. But like I said, these are pretty much as big as males get. They'll get a little bit bigger, and if you overfeed them, they'll get fatter. But this is like the perfect size male ball python. Alright, now since it's breeding season, everyone is super huffy and puffy. And everyone just wants to be fed and bred. But this is Mama Rita. So she is our first ever albino pied. And I'm trying to get her out so you guys can see how long she is. So she is actually on the smaller side of what she normally is because she's in Burmation. We just started breeding. She's just starting to get really, really hungry for food. But she is a little over 3,000 grams. There are ball python females out there I've seen all the way up to 8,000 grams. She's actually really heavy to hold with one hand. She doesn't look that big until I put like my arm. She's like the size of my arm. And her bigger spots. She's like doubled in on herself, and that's how big she is. So her exact weight was 3,335 grams, and that was last week. But she breeds every year, gives us about 10 to 12 babies every single season. She's actually one that we bred with our clown pied this year. Try to get some clown pied albinos maybe one day. But we do have a couple that are bigger and fatter, but that would be Karen and Mauve, and they are not very friendly. I'll try to get out Hazel, but she's been super snippy lately. She just wants food. I think she's going to have her ovulation here soon, but she's super stinking pretty. I wanted to be able to show you guys. And actually, there's a movie, a short movie coming out with a character from Orange is the New Black, and there was a short movie, and she is actually starred in the movie. I'm not going to tell you about it because it has not come out yet, but she's in shed, of course, so she doesn't look as pretty, but I got some pictures of behind the scenes I'll release one day once it's out. But she was actually in the film. About the same size. Her weight is, they're pretty much the same weight. I think they're about the same length. Albino Pied is, I believe, a year younger than her. But we've grown her up since a tiny baby. She is from 2016. Yep, they were both from 2016, so they're actually the same age, but we had gotten her first. She was actually one of the first. I'm trying to stretch them out so you can see how big they really are, but it's kind of difficult. They're just not in good moods in winter. But this is a lesser pinstripe. This is Hazel. She's normally a real sweetheart. She gives us really good clutches every year also, except it's crazy because a lot of her babies should be pinstripe, and she's only ever given us 2 in the last, I don't know, 6 seasons. But this is how big your snake's going to get. This is why big adult females, minimum 3x2x1. You can also do a 4x2x1. You can get bigger if you're going to give them places to hide, and they're big and they're confident and they have spaces that they need. But she's very hard to hold with one arm. We're going to put her back. I'm starting to get sweaty, so she's starting to stick to me. But this is how big. And again, these are 3,000 grams. I've heard of 8,000 gram snakes. So they actually could get a lot bigger. And that's how hard she's holding on. She's holding herself up. Just checked, and Mauve or Purple Passion is 3,900 grams. So she's like 500 grams bigger than those guys. But like I said, they get bigger. Those girls are from 2016. It's 2024 right now. I'll give you guys an example of how big they are. They're about 8 years old. So keep that in mind. A ball python, like as you saw, they're both super friendly. They were just cruising around, but it's so hard to hold and be able to talk and focus, and it's like 80 degrees in here, so I'm hot and sweaty and they're sticking. But they're super great animals, nothing to be afraid of. Some of them are more grumpy than others, but out of everyone I probably have 20 that are really, really grumpy, but that's because I rescue a lot of snakes or get them from people who the animals they say are super aggressive. They don't want them. Like actually Mauve, she was from a home that they said that she was jumping out of the cage to attack people. She's never bitten me. She hisses at me a lot, but she's not aggressive. She just hates physical touch. So keep that in mind whenever you're getting whatever snake you get. All of them are totally different, but they can have some really good size on them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We do new videos every single week. So I'll see you guys in the next video.